It's time to turn your dream into bold action. As a Christ-centered coach and mentor to women changing the world, I firmly believe that we all have a gift given to us by God, and we are meant to share that gift with the world. Your gift was given to you to help make others' lives better. Let's turn your passion into an authentic and profitable business that reflects who you are at your core. Welcome to the Dream Launcher Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Ferrara. Today, I want to tell you a short story, and it's a little bit of a story of me. And the reason is because I want you to get to know me a little bit better, and I hope that over time I get to know you a little bit better too. My journey in business started many, many years ago. I think I alluded to that on a previous episode. That basically, as soon as I was able, legally able to sign a contract, I started in network marketing. And as time went on, those dreams and aspirations grew for me as far as the type of business that I wanted to have. I wasn't quite sure early on, like in my 20s, when I really first started a scrapbooking business. It was scrapbooking supply business, and I sold at different scrapbooking crops and other events like that. And I know at that point, it was just, I wanted to have a business. I wanted to have something to do and some way to earn a little extra money. And as life went on, the purpose of my business changed as well. As far as as life changed, my business changed. And when I was in worship one day back in June 2014, and I'm going to grab my phone because I want to be able to read this to you exactly as it was spoken to me during that time. So this was back in, as I said, in June 2014. I had been meeting with a group of ladies who we had the desire to start a home for women coming out of addiction and coming out of prison, coming off the streets and out of trafficking. And so we were meeting together and we were praying over this mission and we were praying over this idea and this desire to support women in that way. And at the same time, we were working on us because we knew that we needed to be able to come to the table with those ladies and be in a healthy place ourselves so that we could truly support them in a healthy way. And so I remember one Saturday night, I was at church and we were in worship and I was praying about two things. One, I had an opportunity to switch businesses in the moment and was trying to pray of whether I should or not. And two, was trying to decide how involved in this ministry was I going to be. Because at that time, it was me and another friend of mine, Lindsay, who were really leading the charge on it. But I worked full time and she was working with the organization that was going to support this ministry that was going to be that it was going to be under, right? And so she was working with them and I was working full time. And then we were trying to start this ministry. And so I remember during worship, I had my hands up and I was just crying out to God, what do I do? How do I do it? What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to be doing? And in that moment, I started hearing these words in my head and I had to sit down and I grabbed my journal and I scribbled them out very, very quickly. And I wrote, so on this page, it says mission up at the top. And I even think mission is spelled incorrectly because I was writing so fast. And what I was hearing in my head was that my calling is to build women up using their God-given gifts so that they will be empowered to pursue their dreams or learn to dream again. Man, does that sound familiar to the purpose of this podcast? Years and years ago, this is what, at this point, I don't know, too many for me to count, but close to 7 years ago is when I got this download of this mission. Now, the next part of it, he said, this will be accomplished through business and through DC Women, which is what the ministry was going to be called at the time. He said, the two are one and the same. Both will build women up through Christ. And what's amazing is that really these days, when I read this, I just substitute ministry as where he says DC Women. So basically what I hear him saying is that this will be accomplished through business and through ministry, that they will be one and the same. And it has taken me a while to build what this looks like and to grow it. And I've learned so much over these 7 years. And while that particular ministry didn't actually happen, which it is what it is, it kind of fizzled out. And both Lindsay and I were kind of left like, what in the world happened? Like, it was so powerful and it was so important. But ultimately, what I believe is that our prayers and our efforts there and our intentions have not been just left in the dust. There was a different house under the same organization that started about a year later, after we quit meeting and we quit trying to plan it because we were hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And so I have to look at it as we were birthing it, we were praying it in, so to speak. We were praying for it, even if, and we had to just let go of it, like whether it was ours to own and to run going forward or not, we had to let go of it. And that's what we did. And then it opened under different people, same organization, different people, and it ran for several years. And it had a little bit of a different um, spin, I could say, on who was coming in, but it was still really the basic mission of helping to restore the lives of women and support them as they healed. And I had to go through some mourning over that because it was a dream. It was this desire. It was this thing that I was holding on to so tightly that I knew I was supposed to be a part of. And what I've learned over the years is that that same purpose never left me. It wasn't just that one occasion, that one ministry, that one thing that was my purpose. It's my life purpose, is to help women to dream, to chase after their God-given dreams, to help them dream again, and to heal. I know that my mission in life is to set the captives free. And I, through experience, know that those dreams get squashed because of oppression of the enemy, because of what other people think, because of our own doubts and fears, our own beliefs, whether they're good or bad. And that's the mission that I'm on, though, is it's the same. And even though 7 years ago it looked differently, the purpose, the desire, the goal, the mission is the same. And so over these years, as I've grown my coaching business, it has truly melded into this one thing. And through my business, I minister to women. And through my ministry, sometimes there have been some businesses birthed. And so and when I say my ministry, I'm involved in different ministries at my church and through Freedom Ministry, and where I meet one-on-one with women through my church, specifically to help them heal and to get them to have a very personal relationship with God and with Jesus and with the Holy Spirit. And through that, healing happens and chains break and strongholds are cast down and demons are cast out if that's what's needed as well. And I'm able to do that both there at church and as I coach women in my ministry or in my business, of helping them start businesses. Because one of the things that has happened for me, and I know with a lot of the women that I've worked through, like this entrepreneurial journey that we choose to go on with God is the biggest and best and hardest work you will ever do. And it is the most challenging and the most freeing and the most revealing to you of what has been holding you back for years, because those things crop up all over the place. And so where my journey in this started back in 2014, that's, if you'll remember back to episode 1, I was taking a couple of years where I was praying, I know I'm supposed to be in ministry, and how can I find some way to basically work part-time and do ministry full-time? And well, it's all melded together at this point. And even though, like right now in this moment here in 2003, I'm back at a full-time job, I spent 5 years in my own business working full-time on my business. and being able to spend time doing that ministry at church without any complications or calendar challenges that come with working full time. I helped start up a recovery ministry at my church, along with many other people that were involved in that startup. But it was because I was available, my time was available, and I was able to spend during that startup time. I spent hours during a week getting things prepared and creating the the structure that was needed for that ministry. Now I'm still involved in that ministry, but we have 5, 6, 7, 8 other leaders who help to continue to move it forward, that have a piece of each of those pieces of structure, right? And they have ownership over that. And so I've been able to pass that on. And so now I coach the coaches, basically. I coach the leaders, and I'm there to help execute. I create the website, I do the social media, I take care of those parts, and then I counsel when needed. And with that, I've been able to then have more time, and I'm gone back to work. My husband and I had some financial desires and some dreams of our own, and the best way to make that happen was for me to go back and have a full-time paycheck to help support that. So I did. And it came with its own challenges in my mind of like, what does this mean about me and my business? And I had to let that go, and I had to really work with the Holy Spirit and with Jesus through that. And they helped me let that go. They helped show me that it didn't mean that I was a failure in my business. I still have clients, I still work with them. My business is still active. It doesn't take as much of my time right now. And so anyway, that's how things have evolved for me. And so I hope that some of that encourages you, that it may not be a linear path as you go after your dream, and the method might change over time. Just like I said, I had several different businesses, and finally stepped into, in 2017, stepped into coaching as my primary business. And um, when we get into really chasing after that dream and working through it, what we find, and this is what you will find too, is that that purpose on your life that God has given you, those talents and those abilities, and the purpose that He has you on this earth for, can happen and can be used and can be executed on no matter what business you're in, or if you're still in a full-time job, or if you're a stay-at-home mom. There are things that all of it applies no matter where you are in life. That part will not change. The method, the wrapper, you could say, the packaging of it might change, but the other pieces don't. And so that's where I am right now, where I'm back. I'm working full time as a project manager for a big insurance company. It's what I've done for 20 years as project manager, and I enjoy it. I love the work that I do. And that was one of the things when I was in that time where I was praying, I know I'm supposed to be doing something bigger with these skills and something more with these skills. But I also knew that I was using the skills God gave me in the current job that I had. And so I've just stepped back into that. And it's allowed to take a little pressure off of our family financially, from the aspect of my husband knows there is a paycheck every 2 weeks and we know what's going to happen, and we can plan a little bit better. My income's not like, oh, I have money, oh, I don't, oh, I have money, oh, I don't. As you launch, and then you get in between launches and you're launching again and you're creating again and all of that. So that's, I know I want to say that. I hope that doesn't discourage you, because that really is the startup journey. And so if you can go into your startup knowing that it's going to be an ebb and a flow and an up and a down, and you're going to have some twists and turns and pivots and all of that, if you go into it expecting that and understanding that, then those things aren't as challenging when they come up, because it's expected. It's like planned for. You can kind of plan for the unexpected, which sounds really crazy, but it's necessary. And it's a mindset that you have to have as an entrepreneur, that things change. And you can't be all bent out of shape about it for too long, because you can be out of, like I said, I mourned when this mission, when this ministry for DC women didn't happen. I really did. And then at some point I was praying and I was like, God, why? Like, what happened? What happened? What happened? And God reminded me that I'm a starter. I guess it was the first time he had really told me I'm a starter. And what that means is that I may not see it to the end. And he was like, Stephanie, look at your career as a project manager. You don't own the finished product afterwards. You get it started, you get it up and running, and then you hand it off to the business and they own it. And they may consult with you here and there afterwards. Why do we make this decision? Why do we do that? Whatever. But they own it. And you no longer own it and you get to move on to start something else. And honestly, that's what I love about project management is that it's like being an entrepreneur because I'm constantly learning something new, having to get into a different mindset and figure something out. And how does this system work? And what does this business area need? And that's what's fun about it for me. And that's what's fun about coaching as well, because I get to kind of grow my business, but also help others start theirs. And so I get to experience that startup energy all the time. And it's so much fun. And it just fills me up. And so um, that's just really what I wanted to be able to share with you today is that little story of where this dream started. And in that moment, like I said, I thought it was going to be a ministry, straight up ministry. Like I was going to work full time in that ministry. And that's not what God has planned for me. He wanted me to help people start businesses and work in that ministry of the marketplace. So we will definitely be talking about that marketplace ministry as we progress through on this podcast, because that's a huge topic on its own and something that is overlooked in a lot of places. But I do see it picking up some steam again, where Christians are really understanding their place in business and how important it is for them to be faith forward in their business, even if their business isn't a faith-based business, okay? Like you're not writing devotionals or publishing books of Christian authors. Maybe you are, but you can have a faith-forward business without the business itself having anything to do with Christianity or faith, right? So business startup is not specifically a Christian thing, although I think entrepreneurship is very biblical. It's not a Christian thing to own a business, right? To start a business, and whether you're a virtual assistant or you are a teacher of some type and you're creating materials for other teachers, whatever your business might be, it doesn't have to be Jesus focused to be Jesus led. So let's go on this journey together as you build your dreams and as you execute on those dreams and take action on those dreams with God to keep your faith at the forefront and let Jesus be the one who helps you make the right decisions in the right moment for your business and helps you decide if it's time to pivot. I hope that getting a little bit of insight into my story and my personal journey along the way over these last 7 years, specifically in that business journey, has been encouraging to you. And maybe you've been able to see a little bit of yourself in that as well. If this has been really helpful to you and you know somebody who might be blessed by this as well, will you share this episode with them? And if you don't mind, go give me a 5-star review. It helps get this message out to more and more people and also helps me know if I'm on the right track with what you want to hear.